Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wonder, understanding you're new to this, are you familiar with the situation we had regarding the waivers of diplomatic immunity during the COVID situation?
I have been briefed on it, Senator, and I know your concern about what took place, but I wasn't personally involved, obviously.
No, I get that. I understand it. Do you have some thoughts you could share with us on this? This was stunning, when we get
Sure.
Well, I mean, our diplomats have certain immunities that they absolutely have to have, and when they get waived, it makes you sit up and
Sure.
take notice. Have you got thoughts on this?
Sure. I mean, let me also just credit Ambassador Burns for the fact that upon his first day in country, he made it clear to the PRC that U.S. diplomatic personnel would not be appearing in their fever hospitals or in any of their quarantine situations. And I appreciate what the department did to actually set up medevac for the personnel. As I go back and I know you're interested in how it happened, but to suggest COVID was unprecedented, it was truly unprecedented.
Fair point.
And China was not the only place, Senator, where we had to comply with local laws in order for our personnel to be there. And as I understand it, the difficult decision that's made is, do you show up for the job in a difficult location or do you not? And I think this is what was presented to us, not only in China, but in dozens of jurisdictions around the world. And I know that's not probably an adequate answer, but those are the real-time tough decisions. And I think the calculation, and I'm happy to go back and look at this, was that it was better to be present than not be present.
That's a realistic answer, and certainly it requires a balancing, answering the question you just proposed, and that is, do you comply or do you leave? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I think in the case of what happened in China, the things they were asking were just. I guess I'd have come down the other way on it if I'd had to make that decision, because to put one of our diplomats through what some of them went through under those circumstances was more than I would want to expect from our diplomats.
Yes, Senator, the hardship that was experienced by a number of personnel and their families was intolerable, and we want to see that sort of thing does not happen again.
Speaking of the pandemic, my Global Health Pandemic Prevention, Preparedness, and Response Act, which was passed with the help and the collaboration of the chairman, is something that we put in place to try to answer when this happens again. And I don't think you can find anybody that would think that this isn't going to happen again. We're going to face this kind of a challenge again. Maybe not as bad, maybe worse. We don't know. But in any event, we were very much unprepared for this. You can argue fault if you want, but again, it was unprecedented, and it's understandable that people responded in the way they did in some instances. What we tried to do was put together a response that states a U.S. policy in this regard, and thus the bill. And that, of course, includes the department, a new global health bureau to advance these issues. What have you had a chance to review that yet? And what are your thoughts on that, if you have?
I haven't had a chance to look at the legislation specifically, but I know that the global health is one of the top issues for the department, and the new bureau will be essential, working with you and your staff on these sets of issues, because I concur with you, Senator. We're going to face these kinds of future, and so the new with the authority, I think, are going to
be that, and I think once the pandemic's kind of behind us now, and we're focused on other things, which we have to be, of course. But in the meantime, I think we really need to keep this on our minds, because this comes out of nowhere. I mean, it's like other tragedies that happen in life. They just show up, and hopefully This legislation that we've passed is going to put us in a better position next time as we go forward. We know how small the globe has become, and these things happen quickly in another place, and all of a sudden they're right here on our shore. And what we have done, what you have done, the department has done, certainly will make a difference in the future, for better or for worse, and hopefully this legislation will get us to where we want to be. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.